2022 special meeting to order. Let me ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Thank you. Supervisor Anderson. Supervisor Lawson-Remer.
Here.
Supervisor Desmond.
Here.
Vice Chair Vargas.
Vargas here.
Chair Fletcher.
Fletcher here. We will now proceed with today's agenda. We only have one item for consideration, ratify declaration of local health emergency regarding monkeypox. I'll turn it over to county staff for their presentation.
Good morning, Chair Fletcher, members of the board. On August 2nd of this year, our public health officer, Dr. Wilma Wooten, declared a declaration of local health emergency pursuant to California Health and Safety Code Section 10-1080 as a result of the global outbreak of monkeypox and the local impacts to public health. Your board is required to ratify a declaration of local public health emergency within 7 days of the declaration. In addition to requesting your ratification, we'd like to provide an overview of the current monkeypox outbreak and our actions taken today. I'm joined by Dr. Wilma Wooten, who will provide a general overview of the outbreak and the clinical features of the virus. In addition, our Deputy Public Health Officer, Dr. Ankita Kadakia, will provide an overview of our T3 strategy, test, trace, and treat, and vaccination strategy aimed to contain the current outbreak. And lastly, our Public Health Services Director, Dr. Elizabeth Hernandez, will show details of the local public health response related to monkeypox education, collaboration, and outreach efforts. And with that, Dr. Wooten.
Thank you, Nick. Good morning, Chair Fletcher and members of the board. Clusters of monkeypox cases with apparent local transmission were identified in multiple countries, primarily in Europe, in May of this year. This global map shows geographic areas where the monkeypox virus has historically been observed, depicted by the blue dots, compared to the current worldwide monkeypox outbreak of 2022, depicted by the orange dots. We can see that in previous years, monkeypox has primarily been observed in and is endemic to West and Central Africa regions, where cases primarily occur in household members, including children. Globally, as of August 8th of 2022, there have been 30,189 cases reported in over 88 countries. This next slide shows the current case count for the United States and California. There are currently 8,934 confirmed cases in the United States and 1,310 confirmed and probable cases in the state of California. In this slide, current case counts for, the case count for San Diego County is shown. In San Diego County, there are currently 98 confirmed and probable cases as of 11:59 on Sunday. Of the 98 confirmed and probable cases, all are male. 83 cases self-identified as gay, lesbian, or same-gender loving. 3 cases self-identified as bisexual, 2 cases self-identified as heterosexual or straight, and 9 others are unknown, and 1 case declined to answer. The age for cases range from 21 to 62 years of age, with a median age of 34.5 years. Of the 98 cases, there have been 2 hospitalizations and thankfully no deaths. The first U.S. monkeypox case was reported in Massachusetts on May 17th of this year. On May 20th, the County Public Health Services stood up its incident command structure for the global monkeypox outbreak. The first case in California was reported on May 27th, and the first 2 probable cases in San Diego County were reported on June 15th. Just 2 months later, after the first U.S. case on July 23rd, the World Health Organization declared the multi-country spread of monkeypox to be a public health emergency of international concern, which constitutes its highest alert. On August 1st, the California Department of Public Health declared a state of emergency. The next day, on August 2nd, a local health emergency was declared for San Diego County. Finally, on August 4th, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services declared the spread of monkeypox infection in the U.S. as a public health emergency. These actions allow for the availability of resources. The state of emergency allows for personnel such as pharmacists and emergency medical technicians to administer vaccines, to utilize state resources for vaccine administration, and to leverage the public health infrastructure related to testing, case investigation and contact tracing, and community outreach and engagement developed during the COVID-19 pandemic response. The federal public health emergency reinforces support to state and local jurisdictions for their efforts. Now, monkeypox is a rare disease that is caused by the monkeypox virus and belongs to the orthopox virus genus. This is the same family of viruses as smallpox or cowpox. Cases of monkeypox have previously been identified in travelers from or residents of countries in West and Central Africa, where monkeypox is considered to be endemic. The virus can spread from infected animals to humans and from person to person. Monkeypox can impact any segment of the population as the virus spreads through prolonged skin-to-skin contact, respiratory droplet secretions during close face-to-face contact, and sharing contaminated towels or beddings. Those who are at greater risk during this current outbreak includes individuals who reported having contact with a person or people either with a similar appearing rash or who received a diagnosis of confirmed or probable monkeypox. Monkeypox is less infectious to the general public and is harder to transmit than other infections like COVID-19 or other respiratory viruses. The risk to the general public is low, but precautions should still be taken, especially for children, pregnant women, the elderly, and immunocompromised individuals. The length of time from when you become infected to when you develop symptoms is the incubation period and is typically 7 to 14 days, but can range from as little as 5 to as late as 21 days. Symptoms are similar to, but milder than, the signs and symptoms of smallpox and may precede a rash with fever, swollen lymph nodes, chills, headache, backaches, and muscle aches. A rash usually develops 1 to 3 days after the appearance of fever. The rash often begins on the face and then spreads to other parts of the body. On this slide, there are examples of the rash. The monkeypox infection typically involves a characteristic rash that progresses through specific stages from a flattened red rash to bumps to blisters. The palms and soles are often involved. Some recent cases have begun with lesions in the mucosal surfaces such as the oral, genital, or perianal regions in the absence of documented fever and other symptoms. For this reason, the infection may be confused with more commonly seen infections such as syphilis, herpes, or chickenpox. Globally, monkeypox cases have been detected predominantly in gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men, but not exclusively. The county is dedicated to reducing stigma towards the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer communities. So no single community is responsible for the spread of this virus. It is important to remember the monkeypox virus can infect anyone regardless of sexual orientation, age, or gender. To prevent the worldwide spread of the monkeypox virus, the key strategy is prevention. Be aware of the modes of transmission, know the signs and symptoms of the disease, and limit skin-to-skin contact with anyone who has symptoms or a rash to lower the risk of contracting the virus. The county encourages all San Diegans to practice the following prevention strategies. Limit close skin-to-skin contact with anyone who has symptoms or a rash. Know the signs and symptoms of the disease. Check yourself and ask your partner or partners about rash and illnesses that have recently occurred. And obtain the monkeypox virus if you have been exposed or otherwise is at risk. Now, please welcome Dr. Ankita Kadakia, Deputy Public Health Officer of Public Health Services, who will provide an overview of the monkeypox outbreak T3 and vaccination efforts.
Thank you, Dr. Wooten. The county has an established preparedness and response system to monitor, evaluate, and test persons suspected of monkeypox infection. Building off of our COVID-19 response and successes learned from T3, this slide shows our T3 response dashboard for the monkeypox outbreak. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, there are a total of 98 confirmed and probable cases with illness onset dates ranging from May 30th to August 4th, 2022. In terms of trace, as of August 4th, there are 74 active contact investigations. A total of 170 contact incidents have been investigated. Currently, antiviral treatment with a medication called tecovirimat or TPOXX is available throughout all 6 HHSA regions. To date, there have been 170 courses distributed. The antiviral medication tecovirimat can be used for monkeypox and obtained from the Federal National Strategic Stockpile. This treatment is available for severe infections or associated painful lesions and for those who are at risk for developing severe disease. Tecovirimat is available as an oral capsule and IV formulations and was approved by the Food and Drug Administration in July 2018 and May 2022. As of August 5th, the county has distributed 170 treatment courses to central pharmacies of hospital systems, community clinics, and county public health clinics. The monkeypox vaccine is available from the Federal Strategic National Stockpile and is in limited supply. Vaccine goes to the state and is allocated to local jurisdictions. Normally, a 2-dose series given 28 days apart, counties are following the California Department of Public Health guidance. Therefore, the current vaccine strategy is to vaccinate as many eligible persons as possible with the first dose and hold vaccine back for the second dose. Also, until the vaccine supply increases, eligibility for the vaccine per CDPH guidance is provided on a prioritized basis as those who have been exposed to a confirmed or probable case, this is known as post-exposure prophylaxis, and those who have underlying medical conditions, which increases one's risk for severe disease. This is known as pre-exposure prophylaxis. The next 2 slides will go over detailed information on vaccinations as post-exposure prophylaxis or PEP, and pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP. If you've been exposed to monkeypox, the CDC recommends getting a vaccine for post-exposure prophylaxis or PEP within 14 days from the date of exposure. This may prevent someone from developing infection or reducing serious symptoms should infection develop. PEP should be provided to the following populations who are at risk for infection if exposed. Contacts have been identified as high or intermediate risk by a confirmed or probable monkeypox case during the case investigation process. Those who have been intimate or otherwise had skin-to-skin contact with a person who has a monkeypox-like rash. PEP can be expanded per CDC and CDPH to people with certain risk factors who are more likely to have been recently exposed to monkeypox. This is known as PEP++ or expanded PEP. This vaccine strategy for pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP is used for those who are at greatest risk for developing complications if they were infected or at high risk for exposure, which can include those with immune-compromising conditions listed on the slide. Individuals who are sick with monkeypox symptoms or rash should isolate, stay at home, and monitor their symptoms. Contact your healthcare provider to get tested if you developed a rash. Treatment with tecovirimat or TPOXX is available for severe infections and pain control. And inform close contacts if diagnosed with monkeypox by using www.tellyourpartner.org to anonymously notify partners about monkeypox in a safe and secure way through text message or email. Individuals who have been exposed to the monkeypox virus should get vaccinated. If you have been exposed, get vaccinated within the first 14 days after exposure. Monitor for signs and symptoms for 21 days. If you're symptom-free, you can continue daily routine activities like work or going to school. If symptoms develop, individuals should immediately isolate, contact your healthcare provider if you have a rash in order to get tested, and inform close contacts if diagnosed with monkeypox. If you do not have a healthcare provider, we encourage calling 211 or 711 for the hearing impaired. At this time, the federal vaccine supply for monkeypox is limited. The supply goes to the state and then to local health departments. This slide provides a summary of our vaccine efforts. As of August 4th, the county has requested 25,556 doses and received 5,047 doses from the California Department of Public Health. based on a formula allocation which can be found on the county's monkeypox website. 4,647 doses have been distributed to hospital systems, federally qualified health centers, and county clinics, of which 2,322 have been administered, and 400 doses are reserved for post-exposure prophylaxis. Now, please welcome Dr. Elizabeth Hernandez, Public Health Services Director of Departmental Operations, who will provide details related to education and outreach efforts in response to the monkeypox outbreak.
Thank you, Dr. Kadakia. At the end of May, the County of San Diego launched its monkeypox response and quickly began to formulate its response strategy, leveraging on infrastructure and lessons learned from our COVID-19 response. In the next remaining slides, we will review the county's actions thus far related to education and outreach efforts. It is important to note that even before the local cases in June, the county's public education campaign had provided information using different modes of communication, and coordination and collaboration efforts with local county partners to prevent the spread of the virus were underway. Before the first case was identified in San Diego County, communication strategies were implemented. For example, our first health alert was sent on May 20th. The county started an active public health education campaign to ensure accurate information and adequate resources reached all San Diegans. These include launching the Monkeypox website on June 2nd, currently providing local case, demographic, and vaccination information Monday through Friday, and other educational materials such as frequently asked questions, flyers, and town hall videos, as well as timely information of important events. Developing a variety of health education materials with input from subject matter experts in the community. This effort is ongoing as content changes daily. Materials are available in English and Spanish with translation to other threshold languages in process. Establishing a dedicated text alert system that enables anyone to sign up for monkeypox updates. To receive those updates, text COSD monkeypox to 468311. We have also issued several articles and provided timely information on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We've also utilized Google to place monkeypox messaging reaching a wide range of individuals. Additionally, we are providing monkeypox information via various social media outlets, including sexual-related apps, as well as print, and will soon expand to other methods, including digital radio. Since Live Well San Diego was created in 2010, partnerships across 4 sectors were established with governments, businesses, community and faith-based organizations, as well as schools. During COVID-19, these sectors were expanded to over 20 different subsectors. Borrowing from the strategic approach during COVID-19 response, we have leveraged these subsectors to boost our outreach and education efforts and continue to provide information to the community in general as it relates to monkeypox. Focusing on sector education and outreach, the county has conducted several telebriefings with various sectors, and to date, a total of 20 telebriefings have either been conducted or scheduled. Subject matter experts have been assigned and will convene regular meetings to educate the various populations. On the right side of the slide, you can see some of the achievements in the past month and a half. Over 582 people have been reached directly via telebriefings. 4 community presentations have been conducted to several community groups, including the NAACP, reaching over 197 individuals. More than 19,000 have been reached via e-blasts. Additionally, over 255,000 individuals have viewed information distributed via the county news service channels. These include articles, videos, and social media posts. Furthermore, about 4,500 individuals have signed up to receive updates via the county's monkeypox text alert system. And over 1,300 flyers have been provided to LGBTQ+ community partners for distribution to local bars, events, and resource fairs. Also, we are in the process of amending a community contract to provide an additional 28 million impressions through various social media, print, and radio outlets in the next 6 months on monkeypox. As part of the coordination efforts related to existing activities and resources, The county has, on July 8th, activated 211 San Diego to respond and triage inquiries from the public, as well as schedule appointments for mass vaccination events. Enhanced 4 contracts to increase services, such as foot teams and boots on the ground for outreach at bars, restaurants, and other areas. This is in addition to our homeless outreach teams, which have incorporated monkeypox information in their daily outings. We've hosted 4 mass vaccination events at a trusted community location and expanded our clinic hours in the evenings to provide monkeypox vaccines. The county continues to work closely with community leaders, elected officials, healthcare systems, medical providers, the LGBTQ+ community, and other sector partners to obtain input in response to planned activities and communication strategies by actively participating in monkeypox town halls and providing presentations to various groups. Communication efforts have been conducted with many of these existing partners. We have met with elected officials to provide updates and efforts regarding monkeypox response and discuss outreach and communication efforts with the LGBTQ+ community and other populations, such as persons experiencing homelessness. We've briefed all city managers on monkeypox outbreak on August 4th. In addition, the county has also distributed on monkeypox through the San Diego Pride newsletter on June 30th to 65,000 individuals, in addition to social media messaging from the County News Center. Lastly, county staff members continue to attend weekly California Department of Public Health and state communicable disease staff meetings to ensure alignment and advocate for resources accordingly. Collaboration on new activities and resources with community partners are also important. Virtual town hall meetings have been scheduled with various groups. The first virtual town hall was conducted on June 30th. We've launched an LGBTQ+ leadership meeting on July 11th to provide updates and obtain input about response activities, including vaccine events and health communications. This meeting has transitioned into 2 separate meetings: the LGBTQ+ sector telebriefing, composed of approximately 400 attendees, that meets every Monday, and the HIV Planning Group Monkeypox Task Force, a group of trusted messengers to inform response material and strategy. As we continue to be laser focused on those that are currently impacted, it is only a matter of time before this virus enters other critical populations. Proactively, we sent communication to correctional facilities, to over 600 individuals working in organizations serving persons experiencing homelessness, school nurses, colleges and universities, and businesses and the Chamber of Commerce, to name a few. Our efforts are ongoing as we continue to boost our education and outreach efforts by communicating about the monkeypox outbreak updates related to testing, vaccination, and treatment resources, coordinating with partners on existing activities and resources, and collaborating with all partners on new activities to protect the public and prevent further spread of this virus in a respectful, equitable, and transparent manner. We recommend your board take the following actions with respect to this item. 1, ratify the attached declaration of local health emergency made by the San Diego County Public Health Officer on August 2nd, 2022. And 2, find that there is a continuing need for the local health emergency until no longer needed, subject to the County Health and Safety Code, Section 101080 requirements. Thank you for the opportunity to provide today's presentation. Subject to your questions, this concludes our presentation.
Thank you. I want to thank all of our Health and Human Services staff, our medical team, and everyone who's been involved in the response effort to date. The action we're taking here aligns us with the state. It is a common action for counties and jurisdictions to declare emergencies, in this case a local health emergency. We do it in response to public health issues. We do it in response to wildfires, earthquakes, oil spills, and other type measures. And I think the action that we're taking not only aligns us with the state, but strengthens our ability to ensure vaccination, education, and prevention and treatment initiatives are moving forward, and helps us really allocate and drive resources to try and contain this. I do want to point out that the situation we face today is fundamentally different than the one we faced during COVID, and I understand there can be a lot of anxiety surrounding what we've been through the last few years, but monkeypox is very different. This is a known disease. It is, we know what treatment. We already have a treatment. There's a vaccine. We already have a vaccine, and we already know significantly more about it. It's also order of magnitude less contagious in the spread. And so while we take it very seriously, and our county is moving aggressively to confront this and make sure we're protecting and keeping people safe, I think it is important for us to recognize that it is a fundamentally different situation than the one we faced in COVID, and our response will be fundamentally different. And that doesn't in any way detract from the aggressive nature in which we're taking to make sure the community is informed and equipped with how they can protect themselves and what they can do. But I think for the broader public, it is important to recognize that this is a different situation. I just want to point out our response has been ongoing. As was outlined in the slide, the first case of monkeypox reported in the U.S. was May 17th, and on May 20th, our county stood up our incident command structure to respond to this. And we immediately began providing information and education. Those efforts have only accelerated every day as we have gone through this. As was outlined, we have had town halls, we've had information sharing, social media campaigns, a text alert system. Our website contains a wealth of information, everything from when you would get a test or be eligible, how you would get a test, the vaccine information, how many vaccines we've received, how many have been distributed, how many have been administered, how many are being held back, along with case numbers that are being updated daily and the demographic breakdown of those individuals who are positive. We have a standing leadership call on Mondays that includes community groups, area, local elected officials, our own county health folks who help respond, along with multiple engagements. And so we will continue to push, and our county will continue to be very engaged with community, with our health systems and our health partners to make sure that we're responding. Simple reality is we have a shortage of vaccines, and everyone knows the county does not have a vaccine box in the basement. We just aren't plugging in. We are dependent upon the federal government to send the state vaccines, and we continue to advocate. Last month, I communicated directly with the federal government that we needed more vaccines and we needed them faster, and we continue to push with them. The state has a formula for how they allocate them to counties, and that is on our website, a link to that, a very transparent formula for how they make the allocation determinations. But again, they are dependent upon what they get. We know that the vast majority of these cases so far have been impacted in our LGBTQ community, but it is really important that we not stigmatize the community. This is not a sexually transmitted disease that transmits itself in the gay community. It is not. That's just where this begins spreading. In 2003, there was an outbreak of monkeypox in the Midwest. People were bitten by prairie dogs, and it started there, and it spread there. Why? Because that's where it originated. And so it is vitally important that we not stigmatize any community. The reason these cases are predominantly there is because that's where it originated, and that's where it spread. But it very well in other parts of the nation, and perhaps here in San Diego, will spread beyond that community. And so we want to continue to make sure we're doing everything we can to keep everyone safe in a way that is not stigmatizing any individuals. We will continue to push our education campaign, our public information campaign, the prevention efforts we're doing, along with continuing to make our treatment options available and pressing and pushing for more vaccines. For everyone out there, we want you to know your county takes this seriously and is working very hard to keep our community safe. And a special thank you to our county staff that have really stepped up. We've significantly increased what we're doing, the engagement, the outreach, the work. We certainly have a long way to go and more to do. The action we're taking will just help us align and move forward, and so I appreciate everyone who's doing that. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations. Is there a second? Second by Vice Chair Vargas. Let's hear from our public speakers, and then we'll come back to the board and other board members.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. We have 16 requests to speak on this item, 7 in person and 9 by phone. Also note for the record that we received 104 e-comments, 1 in favor, 100 in opposition, and 2 neutral. Any members of the public that requested to speak by phone in this item, please dial into the conference line now using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. All in-person speakers are in opposition of this item. As your name is called, please come forward and stand against the east wall under the murals until it is your turn to speak. I'd like to invite forward the following individuals: Kara, Michael Brando, Jeff Noway, Consuelo, Paul Henkin, Mark, and Jason Robo. You may come forward in any order. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board. I'll ask you to please state your name before beginning your comments.
My name is Jeff, but I don't associate much with my fictitious straw man. Those who don't know much about that should look into it. So we're going to make monkeypox the next emergency, huh? What a lie. Just one more lie compounding on and attempting to cover up for the lie of COVID. All monkeypox is another adverse reaction to the deadly COVID vaccine. It's the same thing as what we call shingles. All it really is the body trying to desperately detox poison up through the skin. You see, the really big lie that so much of the overall scam in the world right now is based on is germ theory as a whole. There are no invisible killer dots to be feared. Viruses don't cause anything, Nathan. They are simply dead particles leaving an already poisoned body that's trying to heal. You see, we are very purposely poisoned from all angles here. Fluoride in our water, glyphosate in our food, chemtrails constantly and heavily dumped in our sky, EMF radiation currently being jacked up to 5G, and then the ultimate, vaccines jabbed directly into the bloodstream. It is a multi-pronged, deliberate attack on the population of the world. So then, if viruses essentially don't exist, well, how come some people get sick around others who are already sick, right? The same way that women who live in the same house synchronize their menstruation. Through the electromagnetic field around our vessels, there is a natural communication that occurs within the herd, telling other surrounding members to detox when they need to. Therefore, it's wise to consciously keep your body as free from as many of these poisons as possible. All of this is a fraud, and it's all absolutely coming to light. Those actively involved in committing this atrocity the last few years, you will be held to account. I pray a few of you board members find a way to snap out of it. You either successfully brainwash.
Thank you. Your time is up. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please. Next speaker.
Paul Hinken, please tone down the doom and gloom stuff. Monkeypox and smallpox are closely related. Anyone with the smallpox vaccine, that is most of us born before 1970, already have some immunity against both diseases. There are vaccines and other remedies, notably sunlight and colloidal silver. They're already available. And even the CDC, before being bought out by Big Pharma, showed that vaccines after the infection also help against monkeypox. I sent you the research. And there is nothing these days to spread fear like an alert system, by the way, that sends a text warning about monkeypox that the county apparently started outside of the public process. Do you do text alerts for RSV, meningitis? Monkeypox is not a county emergency any more than those other illnesses. Unlike COVID, there was a monkeypox outbreak in Wisconsin in 2003, so please don't act like it's new and strange. They're both natural and antiviral cures. Your list of symptoms is wrong. Don't be so gullible. Do your own research. Your declaration of a monkeypox emergency is factually wrong and should be rejected. Let's not confuse the need for preparedness with an actual emergency. Why are you doing this to us? But let's celebrate the end of the COVID emergency.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
My name's Kara. I have a bunch of things written down, but I'm just going to try and wing it my best. I'm a San Diego resident of almost 40 years. I've lived here my whole life. I was born at Grossmont Hospital. I have seen some great people serve in this room. One of them was Diane, and we miss her greatly, and you took her spot, and I hope that Amy Riker is going to be taking your spot in the coming months. A whole lot of San Diegans do as well. We're all fed up. We're all here to talk about moneypox, and I call it moneypox because, Nathan, you called it moneypox. You even posted about it being called moneypox. Somebody on your staff should really start spell checking your posts because you make several spelling errors just when it comes to writing San Diego. This is ridiculous. We're all here to talk about a disease or a vaccine or magical docs or whatever. You guys were all out here pushing for Pride, June and July, right? San Diego doesn't have 1 month of Pride festivities. We get to have 2. Actually, I like to say that we have it all year long because it's constantly pushed down our throats. You guys were all at the parade, all shaking hands, all kissing on people's faces, all doing hugs and photo ops, right, Nathan? Getting all of their photo ops that you could get in. And now here you are, you're going to put us back in another state of emergency, another whoopsie, and then you're going to give everybody that's been affected experimental vaccines on top of the other experimental vaccine you've already pushed them and coerced them to get. It's wrong. It's so, so, so wrong. This warning goes to all San Diegans. The government doesn't love you. Nathan doesn't love you. Nora doesn't love you. Tara doesn't love you. Jim and Joel, the verdict is still relatively out. You guys, we see what you're doing. We see what the government's doing. IRS got $5 million in ammunitions last week. IRS got 87,000 new agents yesterday, right? The government loves us, right? The government cares about our health. In the words of George Orwell, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please.
Mark, obviously I'm not against stopping monkeypox. That's a good thing. However, the emergency declaration will give you powers you usually don't have. I'm not confident at all that you won't abuse them as usual. I just saw in the news recently that nationwide, as well as especially here, we have a shortage of police. And I'm pretty sure you guys will use this to make sure that any city employee, police officer, nurse, et cetera, will have to be vaccinated. Really evil and wrong and totalitarian. There were 47 cases of monkeypox in 2003 around Kansas in 6 or 7 states. As Nathan said, they were all caused from pet prairie dogs, which were exposed to mammals from Ghana. There were no cases of person-to-person transmission that were mentioned then, and it didn't become a big endemic or pandemic. Here also, Wilma mentioning the suggestion to get vaccinated after having monkeypox within 14 days doesn't make any sense at all, because you've already got it. Also, here are some of the things you didn't mention. These are side effects of the smallpox vaccination, which I assume is basically a derivative of what you're using to battle this. Lymph glands, red, swollen, armpits may become large and sore. You may run a slight fever, may feel bad enough to miss work, blah, blah, blah. This happens to 1 out of 3 people. Serious reactions. By touching the vaccination area, you can spread to your face, eyes, genitals. Serious reactions, toxic, allergic rash, life-threatening, serious rash caused by infection in the skin known as eczema vaccinatum, dermatitis, buildup of inflamed tissue around vaccination site that may at first look like bullseye will grow into a non-healing sore. Inflammation of the brain known as post-vaccinal encephalitis. This sounds very dangerous.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please.
I address the people. Monkeypox, it's no longer about viruses.
Can you please
It's
state
an
your name for the
IQ
audio
test.
record?
Can you stop my time?
Can you please state your name for the audio record?
Consuelo.
Thank you. Spoke. Thank you. Go ahead.
Many keep on taking the mainstream bait. Headline, UN declares war on dangerous conspiracy theories. The world is not secretly manipulated by global elite, they say. The jig is up. They have lied to us about everything under the sun. Why now would they start speaking truth? They're not, and they won't ever. Double speak, fork tongues. Joel, you got that down, so do you. Desmond. While in chambers, our words, facts, truth fall on deaf ears, but I'm not here for them. I'm here to address the ones who are aware. I'm here to let you know that you are not alone, you are solid, you are important. Your actions or lack thereof will in fact affect the future of humanity, the children. This is war. Throwing in the towel now is not an option. Let them say we are crazy. Let them control the narrative, but never ever let them silence you. They are losing. That's a fact. People are waking up. It is evident. Look how they are trying to keep us out of sight with their virtual meeting crap. They can't handle the truth in their faces. Look how these treasonous liars try to discredit us even after we've given them volumes of credible proof. A question for the obedient ones. When does it end? You've become so used to it. Stockholm Syndrome, unplug your TVs, COVID, swine flu, chickenpox, anthrax, monkeypox, blah, blah, blah. All just ploys to keep the gullible in fear and under their control. Reminder, we be many, they be few. Don't give up.
Thank you. Your time is up. Next speaker, please.
I used the name Michael. Wow. Don't interrupt me, because again, I'm going to connect a lot of different things, but I'm going to start with the press conference last week that was put on here, the charade of these so-called doctors who I would never, ever have as a doctor come in here and lecture us about so many different things. And I'm also addressing the lies of the virology community. I love how this board likes to talk about other communities like the LGBTQ, MSM community, but they don't address the virology community. As far as this whole new fake state of emergency, I know a lot of gay and bisexual men, and they know that this is all bullshit. All of this is just another way for you to divide and try to conquer the people. You know, and I get it, because you're trying to push another fraud just like you did the COVID, because you have such lovely salaries. You know, Helen, you sign off on all this nonsense, you make almost $600,000 a year in salaries and benefits. Wilma, you make $450 salaries and benefits. So you're addicted to lies, you're addicted to money, and that's the real virus. The greed, the selfishness, the evil. And that includes you, Jim Desmond. You know, there's people in the so-called freedom community that say you're a truth teller. You are not. You're the other side of the coin, the same coin as Nathan Fletcher. It's apparent. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Jason Robo. So yeah, cancer is #1 cause of death. No local health emergency for that, or heart disease. The food system's killing people, unhealthy lifestyles. No emergency for that. But there's no vaccine, so there's no money and control in that. Healthy people. This is just something else made by some buttholes over in Wuhan, and now it's like spread by people who spread their cheeks for each other. Speaking of taxing that ass, yeah, Monkeypox. Are you gonna, what, fund chastity belts for people? I don't understand. You couldn't be bigger whores if you stood on the street corner of Pacific and Ash. Me supervise you long time. Yeah, you're very receptive to lobbyists. Dr. Peter McCullough, who's also destroyed your COVID narrative, says 98% of these cases are from gay and bisexual, 95% are sexually transmitted. But then you say we're not going to stigmatize a group, but then you're quick to stigmatize people that don't want to take a vaccine or wear a mask, so it shows your hypocrisy when you want these hot loads of stimulus. And then why are you talking about protecting children? Are you are you worried about Catholic school children? I guess that would maybe be something, the way the monkeypox is spread. And then vaccines, actually, the word comes from cow. And you don't do anything about factory farming, which is one of the biggest threats to our health in that respect for creating viruses. And yeah, I mean, that place off of the 5, like, call it Cowschwitz. You could tell it stinks when you drive by it. Anyways, yeah, are you going to have a vaccine for people stubbing their toes? I don't know. This is totally ridiculous. And then we're #1 in healthcare spending in the world, and we're last. We're absolutely last. This isn't CNN, so this isn't conspiracy theory. This reminds me of like people that spend a bunch of money on their kids but don't love them. I don't know. We got nutritional deficiency, kidney failure, suicide, hypertension, diabetes, homicide, Michael J. Fox. Or our health is on a shakier foundation than Michael J. Fox. But anyways, I guess, Nathan, you should worry when you're getting penetrated by your boyfriend, Newsome-Leany.
Thank you. Now hear from those that requested to speak by phone. When it is your turn to speak, you'll be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. I'll remind the callers that they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We'll begin with our first caller.
Barbie. Good morning, San Diego. As a frontline healthcare professional working at UCSC, I do not find monkeypox as a threat. Monkeypox is a scare to push an unethical vax that will continue to injure and kill people. What I find more disturbing is our COVID-19 vaccine injuries and our deaths caused by medical neglect, gaslighting, and hospital policies. This new named rash, monkeypox, I've seen so far in the COVID-19 vaccinated who are unhealthy. Did you know that if your skin is irritated, inflamed, or congested, chances are high that there is an imbalance in your gut? The skin is the body's largest organ, and it's one of the major systems by which the body releases toxins and waste. I am witnessing post-COVID-19 vaccinated with an increase of obesity. So these patients are experiencing inflammation, leaky gut, or digestive issues. And the skin is the first place we notice problems. So, as I said before, the issues are our COVID-19 vaccine injured for gaslighting, medical neglect, and because monkeypox is a perfect example of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
This is Carla Milan, and I'm calling because I'm still shocked at what you guys are trying to do here. As you can tell, the majority of us don't believe any of this bullcrap. Definitely has to do with like certain preferences that and lifestyle choices, and I don't think the rest of us should be punished for a specific few. And I think we heard earlier today that it was like 2 people that are not sexually adventurous. They're have this monkeypox thing. Just to let you know, again, we're not afraid of diseases, and please stop fearing us. Please stop infecting the children. That's all.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
My name is Marty Martinez. The declaration of local health emergency is based on an egregious interpretation of California Health and Safety Code Section 101080, and I believe is an unlawful justification for ratifying the declaration of local health emergency regarding monkeypox. The reference safety code section is for release, spill, escape, or entry of waste. Waste is clearly defined as a material that spills, escapes, or is released from any manufacturing, industrial, commercial, or other plant, facility, or process, or that escapes or is released during transportation. It does not apply to the declaration. Is this how the county administrative officer, health officer, and Health and Human Services agency operates? On deception, on lies? I call on our elected representatives, the County Board of Supervisors, the County Sheriff, and the County District Attorney, all of which who have taken the oath of office, to take action against this egregious attempt to abuse the law. For today, the immediate action is for the County Board of Supervisors to vote no on today's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, Cynthia. Hey, listen, you know what? I just say, ditto to everything that's been said. Again, just the asininity that just flies out of this board it's crazy. And I figured out the BS because you guys are wanting to push the whole climate change, and I've said this to you before, there's too many people on the planet, right? With the cow farts and the burping and the overpopulation. Why do you care who survives from monkeypox or corona? Like, why do you care? Isn't it a blessing in disguise? It's a win-win. Get rid of people. So it makes no sense. So what you promote, and what I've learned over time, anything that politics, Hollywood, the left, the crazies, whatever you're promoting, the opposite's actually true. And again, it goes back to personal behavior, responsibility, and you're not there to keep me safe. If there's a literal zombie apocalypse outside my door, I still have the right to leave my house and go to work. You don't have a right to tell me how to live my life. But yet, you know, these people can go around playing with each other's, you know, buttholes, and that's fine. No one has a problem with that. Oh, let's not make them, you know, clean up their behavior. So then we all have to suffer from it. It's disgusting. You guys need to stop this crap. It's overboard. It's just, no one respects you guys. Everyone's just done. You need to knock this crap off now.
Now here for the next caller.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Bunny. I told you so. I am in opposition of this tyrannical lockdown once again. With COVID, they at least started out with info, scientific, in air quotes, data, and testing to lock us down. It was a slow boil to condition you into thinking this was for your safety. And it went on for 2 years. Here we are again, but look how fast we arrived at this lockdown. You get less information and less data, air quotes, than the first virus. You have become that boiled frog by now, right? Most people in this meeting have been showing up for 2 years. Audrey's been at every meeting every week. For those of us who've been fighting up to this point, thank you and keep fighting. If you're newly awake and wondering what's going on, welcome to the revolution. Please don't comply. Don't shut down your businesses. Don't wear masks, and don't take their poison, as the poison is why we have monkeypox now. As long as you play their game, it'll never end. Nathan, you're trying to divide us once again, but all you're doing is pissing off the gay community by blaming them for what your poisonous CV-19 vaccine is doing to them. I can't wait for Nuremberg Trials 2.0. Thank you. I oppose strongly.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
This is Mike Borello speaking. What HHS did not tell you is why monkeypox now. They didn't mention the coincidental global hundreds of millions, if not billions, with compromised immune response from COVID vaccines. Hint, hint, wink, wink. HHS gave an institutional talk, but gave no reason why now. San Diego, like other counties in California, have endowed their HHS with nearly unlimited powers, violating our constitutional freedoms and taxing our economic prosperity. These corporate government cartels hijack the legitimate institution of science for the purpose of control, power, and profit, not truth and benevolence. We, the people of the United States, are at war with these cartels. The fourth unelected branch of our government, the administrative state, aka deep state, which includes HHS. While COVID concerns dwindle, monkeypox is being exploited to conflate, revive, and perpetuate the emergency order. For them, it's a windfall. The deep state, backed by globalist powers, executes an agenda that's rapidly plunging the world into a technocratic, totalitarian existence. In the process, tens of millions will die over the ideologies of what just a handful of megalomaniacs dictate. Just look at the excess all-cause mortality data now. Unless more Americans wake up to these facts and act, we are doomed. Recent actions in Florida by A.G. Garland and his FBI goons were executed for one purpose, to provoke a civil war. While intel should be global, the fight must be local by peaceful means of voice, pen, and lawsuit. Violence must be avoided on all accounts. Violence will only accelerate their agenda.
Now hear from the next caller.
I use the name Audra. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. You guys are so great. I love your propaganda update. Totally full of BS. And it's so obvious that you guys need more money because that's why you put us in these states of an emergency. I'm wondering how many there are going to be, just so that you guys can continue to kill people and, perpetuate your depopulation and, full Agenda 21, 2030, whatever you want to do. It's just funny because you always talk about leveraging money. You're sitting here like double speaking. It's not sexually transmitted, but it's being sexually transmitted. How in the case will then children get it? Okay, good to know. And the fact that you're giving a smallpox vaccine that just coincidentally in 2019 got approved for monkeypox, which is so great, was causing myopericarditis, the one you guys were using. And now the one that you are currently using, you're saying you don't know if it will or will not cause it. But we all know that the COVID-19 vaccines are the reason this is happening. If you guys actually cared about people, you would stop giving the COVID-19 genocide shots. Instead, you want to now give people shots for this as well. They also have shots for whooping cough. What's it going to be next? Like Carla wrote in the thing. Sandra? Who knows? I mean, it's like anything you guys can do to put poison in the arms of people, all while you're pretending to save the people. And you guys stigmatize us all the time. You are not inclusive, yet you want to say that this is happening in this community. If it was happening in the community of the unvaxxed, you better believe you would be gaslighting us like no other. And the fact that you guys think that you can continue doing this, your days are numbered. Everything everybody else said was true. Nobody has been calling or saying that they approve what you guys are doing. Think about that. Because what you're doing is against what the people want, and you're supposed to represent us, which you don't. But that's exactly why you guys are placed in these positions. You're placed there so that you can kill all sorts of people.
Now hear from the next caller.
Marion?
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear me? Oh, hi. My name's Marion. Just like the corona vaccine situation happened a few months following Event 201, which was an event put on by the World Economic Forum, the Gates Foundation, Johns Hopkins, and funded by Dustin Moskovitz. The monkeypox outbreak occurred exactly as predicted in the 2021 International Biosecurity Simulation, also funded by Dustin Moskovitz and others. They said there would be a monkeypox outbreak that would occur in mid-May of 2022, and it did, right on schedule. The federal government must have known because they ordered a number of smallpox vaccines back in early 2022 before there ever was an outbreak. And just so people understand, in the simulation, the simulations that are created that seem to happen like clockwork in real life, in their simulation, the vaccine, this particular monkeypox virus, is resistant to the smallpox vaccine. So let's see if that happens. As Chair Fletcher correctly said in his email and called this moneypox, not monkeypox, but moneypox, and that's really what it is. As we've seen over the last 2.5 years, the war on viruses creates lots of fear and unlimited funds for the government and its corporate beneficiaries. Say no to this recommendation and no to fleecing the people.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Truth. All right, kid gloves are off, even though I totally just played a cartoon clip. Here we go. COVID is now starring in a sequel called Monkeypox. It's as fake as the worst CGI Hollywood movie. These people are so desperate that they have nothing new to offer anymore. Just an unbelievable, repetitive script that nobody's buying. It's literally the same plot as COVID. 0 deaths. Wilma takes orders from above, does what the WHO says when they say, and then bring on the federal funds. Sink the country further into debt and further away from freedom. It's all monkey business. These supervisors in Wilma are all bananas, clearly. But here are the facts. The item says, quote, most cases of monkeypox resolve within a few weeks, end quote. This sideshow presentation said, quote, monkeypox is harder to transmit than COVID-19, end quote. Hey, Elizabeth, I didn't see any of those monkeypox flyers at Pride. And Nathan, you actually came up with the phrase moneypox? Awesome. On August 2nd, Wilma said, quote, the World Health Organization declared monkeypox to be a public health emergency. Of the probable 19 cases, there have been no deaths, end quote. Wilma, do you actually work for the WHO instead of the county? With the amount of states of emergencies going on, you supervisors and you, Wilma Wonka, are getting real fat off greed.
What are you at getting terribly mad? What do you think will come to man? I don't like the look of it. If you're not greedy, you will go far. You will live in happiness. Like trees,
Chair Fletcher, that concludes public comment on this item.
All right, thank you. We have a motion by myself, second by Vice Chair Vargas. Not seeing any requests to speak. Please vote.
Chair Fletcher, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye.
That concludes the business before the board today. Thank you all.
The next regular meeting of the board will take place on Tuesday, August 16th, 2022 at 9 a.m.